All right. So we don't have any viewers yet, so I might give it just a second since we just started it up. I should have started this ahead of 7 o'clock. That would have been smart, maybe.
Now we know better.
Yeah.
I'll see if Laura has any suggestions about that. I don't know. What do y'all think? Should we just keep going? Should we go ahead?
Yep.
Okay.
Press forward.
Yeah. All right. This is session 1 of the London playtest for Abyssal. I am Ash Cheshire. I'm one of the co-designers along with Laura Turner. And I will be GMing. I'm going to have my players introduce yourselves, and then you can... oh, and I only just got the Twitch notification on my phone just now, so we might have some people start showing up now that the notification has actually gone out. So let's see. I'm not sure what order y'all are on your screen, but for me, I'm in upper left, and then clockwise, we've got Volcanic, Brian, and Josie. So can we go in that order to go around? Volcanic, then Brian, then Josie?
Sure. That's also the same order that I'm seeing on my screen. So that
okay, great. That works out great.
Hello, I'm Ash Volcanic. I'm an artist in the Bay Area, and I am playing a character called Reggie. And he basically lives with some old people and helps tend to the local animals. And I need to talk about like the small project, the personal project.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, if you talk about.
So Reggie is a. Do I give away any of the background to a changeling?
You can introduce as much as you want. Absolutely. Yeah, let's include the playbook. Yeah, what kind of liminal you are, all of that good stuff.
Okay. Yeah. So Reggie is a changeling and was left with some humans, basically at the stable, and was raised by them. And the individual project that he is seeking out is to protect orphans from the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
And I have a personal reason for that. My father was Catholic. So I just have some feelings, and I'm going to act them out.
Okay.
And so I'm going to leave the rest of it to be exposed when we play. That's it for me.
Okay. That reminds me of one thing. I don't think we had a chance to talk about this off stream, but just to mention, I know that all of us are familiar with safety and calibration tools. So just a reminder that those are absolutely in play here. Just because it's a playtest doesn't mean that, something unexpected could hit a button. So just reminder that you can always, let me know one way or another, whatever's available to you in the moment, and we'll pause and figure out what we need to do.
You betcha.
Cool. Anything else you wanted to say about Reggie?
Reggie is male, he, him, but I am non-binary, they, them. So if you're referring to my character, he, him.
Beautiful. All right, over to Brian.
Hello, my name is Brian Williams. I am a teacher here in the East Bay, Oakland, California. Tonight I am playing a character from the Bitten playbook, and I'm playing Terence Beecham, Lord Cross, Viscount. Terence is newly minted as a Viscount and is only actually elevated to responsibility because his father was murdered brutally. On one hand, he's very interested in determining who murdered his father, and on the other hand, he's seeking to grapple with the new experiences he's had since meeting someone in a dark alley. And that's what we'll be exploring here in Abyssal.
Excellent. Well, we have some roles available to help you grapple with that. So excellent. Thank you. And Josie.
Your audio setup's amazing, Brian. It's like my ears are being caressed by silk. I'm going to be playing Xandra, who is normally she, her, but with Reggie's help, is passing as a man in the London police force. And she is a wolfish who is the runt of her pack. And I'm Josie. I'm non-binary. Go Zim. And since Jack the Ripper has started, it's become very apparent to Xandra how little the city cares, even in a time of crisis, about the poorer folk. It's all sensational news and a lot of hand-wringing and kerchief shaking, but not a lot of action. And so she wants to reform the police for actual community service and protection.
Excellent. All right, thank you all. So as part of the initial character creation, one of the things that we also did, we're playing in the London 1888 playbook, so that chooses the city for us, and there will be some specifics as we play that will come out of the city playbook. But one of the things that we established for your characters themselves was what brought the three of you together. So we've already done this off stream. So we're just going to kind of refresh and share with the audience a little bit. We have one viewer. Hello. Wonderful. And so we've heard about each of their individual stakes, like what's really important to these characters individually right now. There is additionally, the three of them have discovered character-wise that they're not going to be able to do that by themselves. And so they needed to go and find some help. So our characters also already have connections with each other in a couple of different ways. Let's see. Reggie and Xandra, could we talk a little bit about your connections first? How the two of you know one another, and because Xandra, you already brought it, or Josie brought it up for Xandra a moment ago about the way that Reggie has been able to help Xandra pass at work. Is there anything else about the details of your connection with each other that you'd like to put in right now?
I believe that the initial interaction between Reggie and Xandra was that Xandra had been barking up the wrong tree, as it were, and taking on a fight that was a bit too much for her. And
that's right.
Reggie, being rather slight of size as well, didn't want to get involved, but eventually helped bring Xandra back to health and kind of became buddies with her. And that's how they became close enough to have Reggie be the one to put the illusion spell, as it were, for Xandra to present as male in the workforce, in the police force. And so Reggie's always just kind of watching, hanging out. He's a bit older and a bit sneaky, but he means well.
Yeah, because you're a changeling, I think you look younger than me.
Yeah.
And yeah, that group I think was my wolf pack, who likes to train me by attacking me out of nowhere and leaving me beat up.
Excellent. And let's see, Brian, which connection would you like to talk about with Lord Cross?
Well,
so you've got connections in both directions here.
Certainly. Well, because Lord Cross has very little experience with the the streets. He has, while looking into the murder of his father, has taken the opportunity to make a relationship and to build a common cause with Xandra. Although I'm not certain that Terence actually knows that Xandra is female beneath the glamour. I'm not sure.
Mm.
And so we may actually, for that matter, until or unless we've had an opportunity to test ourselves under fire, as it were, we might have a slightly more formal address.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not quite certain, Constable, what your family name is, but that's fine. It'll all work out. At any rate, working with the constable has been essential to getting at least some sense of what was going on in the town on the night my father was murdered.
Right. The two of you. Josie, remind me what Xandra's role is in that investigation.
I think it's part of her beat, basically. And so I think she's been around some of the discoveries and, stood guard in some of the investigations, or I did some footwork for the inspectors. But she's also very keen on maybe stopping this guy herself or with her friends, and has also chased down, not necessarily chased down leads, but has heard about the inspectors going to a place and tries to head them off to see if she can get any clues before they just mess it up.
Gotcha. Okay. So let's see, and then Reggie and Lord Cross, the connection there, I believe, comes when the crew was starting to form. Am I remembering that correctly?
Yeah, I think it
sounds correct.
I think it was something having to do with well, I can't really save the orphans on my own. I actually need help from somebody who works with the city.
Mm-hmm. And so, go ahead.
I remember looking for a potential patron.
Right. And Xandra knew about Lord Cross's interest in the same area because, for the audience's benefit, the Lord Cross's father was murdered in the Whitechapel part of London. Whitechapel or Spitalfield, kind of in that area, if I remember correctly. Brian, let me know if I'm on. Yeah, and
that is correct.
Thank you. And history buffs might recognize the year, the city, and that particular part of the city, because one of the historical aspects that is available in the playbook to be played with, which we have decided to include in our game, is Jack the Ripper and the Ripper murders, which began in 1888 in our real world. So there was already some investigation going on, and so there was a tie-in there and an opportunity to find a way to bring Lord Cross in on this venture, with the offer of Xandra's expertise and possibly being able to help get more details about that case that Lord Cross hadn't been able to get his hands on.
Certainly, making good use of Xandra's expertise, the constable's expertise, as well as the deep knowledge of the underbelly of the city, particularly in Spitalfields and Whitechapel, that Reggie affords.
Yeah.
in pardon, in furtherance of that, I have also found and acquired a townhouse on Finsbury Circus, which is just a couple of thousand yards from, just 1,000 yards or so from Whitechapel, and gives us a chance to have a closer a closer vantage of the general area rather than my actual house in Hyde Park.
Well, Lord Cross, as usual, you are most apposite in your comments because that was exactly where I was heading. The base of operations. So for this crew, the base of operations is, as Lord Cross just said, a townhouse that he has secured in Finsbury Circus. So I'm just hopping over to the city document. And take a look and see what details we might share about that. So, the townhouse. So part of the city playbook is the players had an opportunity to choose a city asset. And so from London's options, the townhouse is also equipped with a valet and cook. You have obtained the services of a couple to help you manage your mundane affairs. And this will give every downtime. There are 2 bonus downtime actions that are spread among all members of the crew. So every downtime, there will be 2 additional downtime actions that we can negotiate amongst you of how y'all want to use those. And that's because you've got some people taking care of you. So you don't have to spend your downtime doing your own chores and making your own food. One of the many benefits of having a patron with peerage on your liminal adventures. All right. So, excellent. Thank you all so much. I'm just going to take a brief pause to look at my notes and see where we're headed next. All right. So I think we sort of prepped this, but I'm going to do it formally. The next thing we're going to do is create your crew's reputation. So this is when I had you all think of a negative interaction that you've had with the humans of the city recently that would have left a memorable mark on the human or humans that you interacted with. And so we'll go around and share those. I'll give you a second to think about it and remember or think of something. And then after we have all 3 of them, I'm going to use the information to create a surface reputation for your group. And that will that'll get added to the city playbook. Does that sound familiar? I feel like we did talk about that when we were going through character creation. And do you all remember, or do you have an idea about what your negative interaction with some of the humans in London could be?
I don't remember what I said before.
I believe the negative interaction I had with humans in London was simply as I was roving the streets at night between Whitechapel and Spitalfields, I encountered some folks who would do me poorly, and there was a bit of a scare. And I may have lost control just a bit, and some of the newly acquired bitten attributes may have shown. So I may have come off as the slightly weird, slightly dangerous type, which is complete nonsense because I'm just this gentleman, you
know. Okay. Welcome back.
Really sorry about that.
It's okay, no worries. Okay, so Lord Cross just described an interaction with some humans where a bit of the bitten side came out. He may have been a bit more strident with them than he intended to be. Let's see.
So what was the initial question? Because that's right when my computer was like, "Blah."
Oh, for sure, no worries. This was going back to a negative interaction that your character has had with humans fairly recently that left an impression on those humans. Reggie, what have you been up to?
Um,
And if you need a sec, we can go to Xandra as well.
oh, just my usual bullshit. Just always on my bullshit.
Yeah.
Let's see. My most recent interaction with humans that left an impression, not the best. It was some highfalutin, hoity-toity,
Nice.
higher class individual came by the stables demanding information from my elderly folks, and
Okay.
I of course had to step in and help.
Help.
That's what I'm calling it. I was helping.
Sure.
I may have frightened him away with getting the animals all riled up and having the sheep chase them out. So
Sure.
somebody may have gotten headbutted. I'm just saying.
Okay. And Xandra.
I think a nobleman came into the station one day to I don't know, follow up on some questioning or to make sure a thing was done appropriately.
Okay.
And I basically blurted out something about smelling them at the brothel raid 2 nights ago. And, were they here to turn themselves in?
Ooh. Okay. How did they respond to that?
Denial, constant denial. But and basically distancing me. They don't have. There's no reason for them to listen to me or even really acknowledge me. But it made an impression on that person, and they knew that they got away. They knew they were tipped off of the raid and left. At least an hour before the cops even showed up at the door, and all of this stuff. But the fact that I also mentioned smelling them, like, what? That's weird. So they knew had them, but they also knew that they didn't have to. That I was no threat immediately, but someone to keep an eye out for. Is that just a lucky guess, or is there something weird about them? Does one of my enemies set this person up? What is this? But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So I'm looking at my choices. I think we have 2 that involved kind of being a little bit scarier than people were expecting, a little more sort of like people were kind of taken aback by it. And one where they're not quite as scared because in Xandra's case, it sounds like this suspect, wasn't immediate, but a little sort of put back. So I think I'm going to go with Ruffian.
Yeah, I was going to say, if it helps at all, my kind of general, I guess, reputation is being very scrappy and fighting above my weight.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. So y'all have a ruffian reputation that precedes you at this point.
It's really unfortunate.
It's unfair.
I'm fine with that because I'm looking to become the Pied Piper.
It's so unfair.
All right. Let's see. Okay, that takes care of our reputation. So, next up, we're going to talk about the big mission, the thing that all three of you have decided will be the thing that will help you reach your personal aims. And it has a little bit of each of their personal stakes mixed into it. It resolves issues that are important to all of you. And the big mission. Oops, I just closed the city playbook. Here we go. So the big project is to build an orphanage in the Whitechapel and Spitalfield-ish area. And so this supports Reggie's desire to protect the orphans, to take care of the kids in this part of town. This supports Lord Cross's interests because it helps support the group, which means that you can get the information that you want. You know, this is a means to an end, but I would hazard a guess that Lord Cross is not looking at it purely as a means to an end. This is a good altruistic thing to be doing.
I'm certainly not deaf to the needs of orphans.
Sure. And for Xandra, it also serves Xandra's needs. And so that's what we're going to be working towards. The big goal is to build an orphanage and take better care of the children in the poorest, or one of the poorest parts of this city, and currently one of the most dangerous. Alrighty. So we're going to go into some starting stuff. Just a sec. Apologies. It's been about 30 minutes. Let's take just a real quick bio break while I collect my thoughts. And how long do y'all want? 5 minutes?
5 should be plenty for me.
Great. All right, I'm gonna put us on a little banner, and if I have one, oh, I might not yet. That's okay. But yeah, I can.
You can use the image of Reggie sleeping with a sheep.
It's so good. I need to get that over onto my computer so we can share it.
Sleeping next to, I hope.
Well, technically, yes. The
Yes.
sheep are using Reggie as a pillow.
It's a really lovely piece of art that Volcanic shared with me earlier of Reggie. It's so good. It's a great sketch. Excellent. Okay, so let's go ahead and take 5 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and stop my. I'm going to mute and stop cam. Y'all can decide how much of that you want to do, and we'll come back at 7:35.
Very good.
Great. All right. Thank you. And thanks to our viewers. We'll be back in a few minutes. All right, welcome back, everybody. Okay. So I figure we'll start in free play mode. There are three different kind of modes of play. Free play is just open-ended role playing. I find that it usually takes place at the base of operations. Oh, thank you. Glaive Guizarm, my co-designer, Lara Turner, welcomes us back. So yeah, free play is sort of open-ended, just role-playing amongst each other, kind of building out narrative, that sort of thing. There are the missions where we are... Hi! Glaive also gives us a hi. I'm going to try not to get too distracted by the comments, but I'm just so excited that we're getting comments now. So the mission style is when we are, the players, the characters are out doing a mission. So there is a thing that you're all together out to do. There's going to be a lot more rolling, usually higher tension. There's kind of a goal that you've gone in for, and we either achieve it or fail miserably or disengage or some such thing. And then there's the downtime play, which happens after missions, which I alluded to in talking about the city asset of the bonus downtime actions that you got through your base of operations. But that's also time to do things like recover from harm, reduce heat. If you've for any viewers that are familiar with heat from Blades in the Dark, Lara and I decided that that just wasn't enough strain and strife on our characters, and so we've actually created 2 heat tracks, because you can be on the outs with the humans on the surface, and you can be on the outs with the Abyssals in the shadows, and you can be on the outs with both. So the liminals being these characters, I guess I didn't really do a solid introduction about what kind of characters y'all are. I apologize. So as you've kind of already started to hear, we have Lord Cross, who we've alluded a little bit to, is the Bitten playbook. Lord Cross is, to put it bluntly, I apologize, Viscount, turning into a vampire little by little. Xandra is a werewolf who is at times will become kind of one with the pack as a whole. The abyssal form of the werewolf is the wolf pack, of being part of sort of losing individual consciousness and becoming the pack of wolves. And Reggie, Volcanic Ash's character, is a changeling who is wrestling with his Fey ancestry and has the potential of crossing over into the fairy realm and becoming fully Fey. So that's kind of the tension that we have built in this game, is that the characters are not fully human anymore, but they are not fully abyssal yet. They are in a liminal state between them, and that's weird to humans, because most humans don't even know that this is a thing, and it's a little for the abyssals, because a lot of humans don't complete this process, and liminals are not really well known yet to abyssals, and abyssals have their entire own factions, which we'll get into. They have their own missions. They have their own things that they're doing off on the sides. And so one of the things I'm going to be doing as the GM is tracking clocks and things for each of the factions that our characters belong to, and then an additional faction that is in London, which is the faction of the Miasma. Which is a noxious cloud that may or may not be sentient. So all of those are in play, so to speak, kind of all at the same time. So, welcoming everybody back. The first thing I want to do, getting everybody into character, is imagining a time when the 3 of you have come together at the base of the base of operations. What time of day or night, what days of the week do y'all usually get together? How long have you been getting together? We can kind of negotiate this together right now. Any ideas that you have, we can kind of toss them out.
Evenings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Constable Wood has a day job, so outside of that.
Yep.
Yeah, Reggie doesn't really have any timeline constraints, as it were. Basically, feed the sheep. I guess
Certainly
unless it's shearing season.
Surely they don't shear sheep that they bring to London. They just bring them to London and feed them for slaughter, no?
Don't talk about my sheep that way.
I mean, what? And yes, anyway.
Cold-blooded.
At any rate.
I would imagine evening is... Sorry.
I shouldn't have had Mrs. Frobisher making mutton then, should I?
Oh.
I'm fine with that.
I can ask her to put the lamb on for tomorrow, and we can bring out some cold chicken or something.
Or like a nice MLT, mutton, lettuce, and tomato.
So perky. I love that. Great. So it sounds like usually in the evenings, have you all been getting together regularly? Do you all take any kind of regular meetings together?
I imagine that Reggie and Xandra probably meet up fairly regularly to improve upon the glamour, so Xandra can get away with her job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we were talking like before even Lord Cross in the picture. I think we were meeting up, and now we have a more convenient place instead of like your stable or my flop
Now
house.
you don't have to go to work smelling like sheep.
Yeah.
And do any of you stay here in the apartments? Since there's, it's a townhouse, there would be a potential to possibly stay here part-time or full-time.
Certainly, there's no requirement for you to stay at a flop house if there's a reasonable room here in the apartments, in the townhouse. I think that I probably spend 5 nights a week in Hyde Park, and then come down to Finsbury Circus, Tuesdays and Wednesdays or something.
Okay, so you have a main residence in Hyde Park.
Yes.
Excellent. All right, so it's evening time. Whether or not you all had previously agreed to be here, you're all at the base of operations. So I'm going to let you all kind of talk amongst yourselves for a second while I figure out some details to toss in for you.
Indeed. Reggie, would you like another drink? I'm sure Frobisher could mix something for you.
Sure, yeah. Some tea would be lovely.
Very good. Frobisher, tea, please.
Very good, sir.
Sandra, I'm distressed. I've not had many people willing to talk to me in the streets, and I have not heard anything new about the late Lord Cross's murder, and I'm hoping that you have something new for me, even a lead, anything at all.
Do I have anything?
You have, let's say, let's try a roll.
Ooh.
Let's see. So what do you know so far? You were able to get access to some of the file. I'll let you have that for free. But there are parts of the file that were not there. There was an indication that parts of this had been shuffled into some sort of special investigation, and there's not a lot of detail about where those pieces of the document went. But you can tell that just from your experience, some of the standard forms that should all be together here, Most of them are here, but some really key ones, particularly the evidence list of things that were found at the scene, and some of the photographs seem to be missing.
There hasn't been much action in the case, but things are disappearing from the official documents.
I said let's try a roll, but I decided to just give you that
Oh,
stuff. So that's what
yeah.
that's about.
Yeah, that's yeah. That's what I went with.
That's perfect.
They're not taking it too seriously. Well, at least the department's not, but someone is. Could I be able to tell if maybe it was handled by anyone not in the department normally?
That I can definitely set up a roll for you for. Let's find out. Let's see. I'll have you do. Let's see. What do you think you would want to roll?
I will scrutinize them with my sniffer.
With your sniffer? So tell me about the scrutinizing that that Xandra has been doing. So
sniffer means nose, Lord Cross.
So our scrutinize action is to carefully observe the situation and anticipate outcomes. You might spot telltale signs of trouble before it happens. You might uncover opportunities or weaknesses. You might detect a person's intentions. So if you can tell me about how Xandra has been scrutinizing maybe at the, at the constabulary or...
Yeah, I think, we've been working on this for a few weeks now, I think. So, keeping an eye out on who's coming in and out. And I was also thinking, sniffing the paper themselves.
I was just thinking the same thing. Yeah, you might be able to literally smell who's had their hands on it. Okay. I'll give you a scrutinize roll for that then, sure.
Who's been leaving their sweaty mitts all over these papers?
I got a 6.
Okay. 6 is very good. In fact, it's the highest you can get on a 6-sided die. Fun fact, just a little game designer detail there for you.
I also got a 3, but that's not important.
True enough. So the highest roll is the one that we take from the dice pool. So that is excellent. That means that you accomplish the task you set out to. So something that you noticed when you were going through it, you smell the usual suspects, so to speak. Your supervisor, who the people who are working the case. The one that surprises you is a scent that you recognize from, let me think. When was the raid that you were talking about, where Xandra had the little outburst?
Since we were talking about recent, then it would have been within the last week.
Yeah, you realize that this is weird, but yeah, you think it might be that person.
Okay.
It's fainter. Like maybe they didn't touch as many of these things, or maybe it was, you're not really sure.
Do I know their name, or can I get their name?
Yeah, you know who it is because they came through the station. let's say his name is. What's a good? What do you think, chat? What's a good London name for a guy who got caught in a Whitechapel raid?
Barnabas.
Barnabas. Yep, that's his name.
All right. I'll let Lord Cross know.
We're coming for you, Barney.
So
That's
this
right.
Barnabas has had access to highly protected police files. Is that what I'm led to understand?
Yes.
Who is this Barnabas person? What do we know of him?
He's a hoity-toity type. Not as hoity-toity as you, but up there.
Do we know
maybe
Go ahead.
maybe a lord. I don't know.
Do we know where Barnabas lives?
I'm not sure. I know he likes to play in this area, but the crafty ones will come from across the city.
What are his usual haunts?
Well, one of the brothels, although it's no longer in operation now. Yeah, he likes to play in the Whitechapel area.
Well, perhaps we should. Do we know? Do we know if he has a regular? Is he in Whitechapel at a particular time? Is there a way that we could determine whether we have the chance of seeing him and following his movements?
Might do. Might be able to poke around, ask some questions.
Let's see, because you got a 6, I'll say he when you recognized him, something that that kind of stuck in your mind was something that one of the other police said about him. They said, "We keep picking you up from that same area. Why do you? We keep telling you, if you don't want to get brought in, stop going to that part of town." So yeah, you have a pretty good sense that that's a consistent area for him.
Is that anywhere near my stable?
Let's see, where did we put your stable? I'm trying to remember if we put it. Yeah, I don't think we established how deep into that neighborhood. I remember we did talk about it being in it because that's how Reggie knows the orphans.
Right.
Right. Yeah, because it's effectively his neighborhood in that vicinity. Do you mean like how close Barney's regular stomping grounds are to your stable?
Yeah, like, is there a
Maybe
chance?
maybe a little bit removed, but yeah, there's a chance that Reggie might recognize this dude too.
Yeah. So, is it possible to get a description of this guy? I may have seen him. It sounds like he probably comes around my neck of the woods pretty often, and I see a lot of faces, some pretty good faces.
Oh yeah, he had beef and tomato for lunch the day I saw him, and for breakfast he had some eggs, sausage, probably toast, white toast. Yeah.
Werewolves.
So it sounds like he hits the pub right down the street from my place. Gotcha. Because that's the kind of breakfast they serve there. Not that they'd ever serve me, but
that highfalutin pub.
Highfalutin pub. Those bougie people with their money.
So
Clean
more toward
tables
the-
and fresh sawdust.
Yeah, so I feel like I've probably seen this fellow around a few times, and I can tell you that he's pretty frequent around there, and I'd say he probably goes to that pub for breakfast at least 3 times a week.
Okay.
So I bet we could intercept him within a couple of days.
Well, then I think that we have a number of options. We could find him and take him aside and ask him why what he's been doing, messing with police files. Or
Well,
we
he's
could
pro-
go ahead.
probably got some friends in the officers' club. He's been in the station more than once. And I think he's got at least one kind of a higher level officer on the take. Let his bygones be bygones.
Mhm.
So we might not want to shake him down too hard in that way, because he could probably cause more trouble.
I mean, do you want me to tail him? I doubt he's ever noticed me.
Yeah, that's I was kind of thinking maybe we try to find out where he hangs his hat the rest of the time and see if we can find what he's taken.
Okay. So is there a move for me to start tailing our target?
Sure, we can do that. So what we'll do is, we'll just say that let's see, how do we want to do that? Because it's not really. So you want to just tail him and find out where he lives, where he hangs out?
Where he sleeps.
Yeah, where he sleeps. All right. We just want to know where you sleep. So I think
invade your dreams.
I think what I'll do is have you do just let's see. Let me think. Because it's not really a full mission. So I don't want to do a full mission just for that. Yeah, let's say maybe over the next couple of days, Reggie, you've kind of kept an eye out, wandered over. So let's see, what action do you think you would want to roll for this little mini operation?
I don't remember exactly where the moves are.
Yeah, for sure. They're on your character spreadsheet, and they should be over at the far right. And they'll be broken out. You've got 3 each under, insight, prowess, and resolve are the kind of top headers, and then there are the individual actions underneath that.
Yeah, so I'm probably gonna go with, I guess, pursue or creep.
Okay. You have no points in pursue, so you would be rolling 2 dice and taking the lower result for pursue. If either of the other 2 characters, if Reggie wanted to see if either of them would maybe be able to come along and assist, we could start this as a bit of a mission. What do y'all think?
That works for me. I'm on a mission to find my father's murderer.
I can pursue.
So let's say I'll go ahead and give you for free, Reggie, if you've been wandering around your neighborhood for a few days. We'll say, because we already know that he hangs out around there fairly regularly. He sounded familiar to Reggie, so I don't feel like this is a very high difficulty. It makes a lot of sense. You would be able to kind of spot him over a couple of days. Like, it would maybe take a few days, but I'll give that to you. And so you have confirmed that, yeah, he does hang out at that pub that you recognized the meal from. So yeah, we'll go ahead and just put together a mission, and we'll have it start with knowing that he's going to be there.
Okay.
So the goal is to try to talk to him. What's the plan? The top level plan for the three of you? You just want to sit down and talk? Do you want to try and
Well, I do believe that
fight him?
I do believe the
Yeah.
Constable Wood suggested that talking to him might only encourage trouble with the police station. So perhaps an investigation to see who he's talking to see who else we might be able to get a sense of, and perhaps we can lean on them without necessarily causing trouble for Constable Wood and Constable Wood's work.
Yeah, we were talking about finding where he lives. But yeah, finding where he hangs and hangs out with is better. And,
Okay.
The idea with, I guess something more interesting might come up. But the initial idea was if we find where he lives, then we can rifle his house.
Okay, so we're going to break and enter. Let's wreck his house!
But just
All right.
telling him might reveal something more interesting for us to chew on.
Okay. So do you want to do this as a group, or do you want Reggie to try and tail him first and then have the mission be to go to his house?
I've seen Reggie strut down the street. I think I will help us pursue him.
Okay.
You think you're slut, but you're not.
All right. So there, if let's see. So excellent. We're going to team up. So you can take one stress to give Ash another die. Is that the assist you're thinking of, Josie?
Or a group action.
Alternately, we can do a group action, and all three of you would work together. One person would be the leader. Anyone else who rolls a 1, the leader takes stress for that. Otherwise, everyone rolls their stat for whichever one we agree on, and then the highest of all of the dice pool would be the result.
Yeah. That way, if he does end up somewhere more interesting, then we're all together to maybe take advantage of that.
So you'll want to go with a group action?
Sure, that sounds reasonable. I suppose Reggie's standing outside of the street, and we can sort of take turns one at a time, making our way to follow him as he moves, but switching out so as not to be too terribly obvious when he looks over his shoulder.
All right, and which action are y'all gonna roll?
Pursue, right?
I'm not sure if that's a pursue or a
pursue would be the one that I would be most easily convinced on. But if you have arguments for any of the other ones, I am more than willing to hear them.
Technically, it is research. We are researching our target by breaking into his house.
Well, that's once we get to his house. It's actually following the target to his house, which I suppose is probably a pursuit.
The first thing we're going to be doing then is pursuing.
Yeah, and research, it's going to be a lot harder to convince me to use research if it doesn't involve doing any reading or interpreting of evidence. All right, so y'all want to do a group pursuit?
At both. That sounds good.
Okay, who's the leader? That will be okay. So Xandra will take stress for any ones that are rolled. So everybody, go ahead and roll your pursue and tell us about any ones and your highest.
All right. So I have a pursue of 1, which means I'm going to roll 1d6. And I got a 2.
Okay, so we have a 2. That's all right.
So
was that 4?
It's only a fail on a 1 and not a fail on a 1, 2, 3?
Correct.
Okay.
Oh,
Was it
Josie only takes stress for ones.
Ah, I see. I see. Oh.
No, 1, 2, 3 for fails.
Oh, 1 through
because-
3?
Yeah.
Oh, for fails. All right, so that's 1 stress for Josie.
Ow.
It's supposed to be a 2-die roll, right?
Yes,
whatever
if
your
you have
pursue
How-
is.
whatever your pursue is. Yeah. Let me take a look.
Oh, yeah, right. You had 0, so it's 2, and then you take the lowest.
Oh, thank you. Yes, 0. So yeah, roll 2 and take the lower one.
All right. Well, I got 2 4s.
Okay, so tied.
All right. Excellent.
I got
And
the
Xander
reverse
will-
of my last roll, so I got a 3 and a 6.
Okay. So 6, and you only take 1 stress. That's great. Okay, so the 3 of you together are able to stay fairly mellow. Don't be suspicious. Don't be
It's only
suspicious.
the vampire that's suspicious.
Yeah.
Doesn't blend in on the street.
So when the rest of you
Stop
manage,
pointing!
so just for flavor, Lord Cross, what is the thing that would make you absolutely pass through the crowd unnoticed in the areas you're used to that made you stick out like a sore thumb in Whitechapel?
Oh, it's probably the cloak. It's a perfectly serviceable, very nice, bespoke cloak that would be one of any number of cloaks in the current style in Hyde Park, and nobody would tell the difference. But certainly, nobody's wearing anything like that here.
This is true.
Next time I'm going to have to throw some stray hay on your back just so you blend in a little bit more. Here, take some camouflage. Going to tussle your hair a little bit too.
Perhaps in return, we'll see that Frobisher gives you a bath.
Whoa, hey. No touchy.
All right. So so you follow him. You find your way to one of the they're called the penny sleeps in the Whitechapel neighborhood. These are very inexpensive places. You have a place to sleep for a penny. And he seems to be staying here at least for tonight.
Cool. So now that we've gotten to his penny room, can we break in and loot it?
You can give that a try, absolutely. Let's see. Do you want to try to come in? How do you want to come in?
I can tinker with the doorknob.
Presumably,
All right.
we're going to attempt this sometime after he's left.
Is that the plan?
Oh yeah, we should probably have Xandra listen in, make sure that there's nobody in the room. Sniff him out.
Well, what if Lord Cross and I can continue pursuing him when he gets out, presumably in the morning, but can stake out the place. We can watch the place. And and then you can break in while we're following him to wherever he has business tomorrow or later tonight.
All right, so I'm so sorry. I got a little bit distracted. So you're going to hold off until he's... Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're going to keep an eye on him and then follow him when he leaves to wherever he's going next.
Okay.
Now, if Lord Cross is not comfortable sleeping in an alley or resting in an alley, then, maybe we'll take turns.
I've no need to rest. I'll just stand here.
All right.
Oh, that won't be suspicious at all.
Cool, I can have a nap then.
It's true.
But we're going to wait for Barney to leave, pursue him, and then Reggie's going to ransack his room.
All right.
I really only get tired when the sun comes up.
We may be at risk of that if he sleeps till morning.
All right. So yeah, he sleeps through the night. Um, let's see. Let's say a little before dawn. Who is still awake and watching the door? If I was really feeling mean, I'd make y'all do a roll for that, but I'll go ahead and let you tell me since our first session out.
Lord Cross seems to have volunteered.
Makes
And
sense?
I believe Sandra would probably perk right up as soon as she heard anything.
Yeah.
Reggie's probably passed out in a slump somewhere.
Okay. Yeah. So, Cross and Xandra, you both hear the door of the shelter across the way there open. Xandra, you smell the familiar morning breath of your friend, unbeknownst to him. He's well known to you.
Stale ale. Stale ale.
What do y'all do?
Follow him.
Okay.
Well, Lord Cross and I follow him. I follow him. I assume Lord Cross is coming.
Does anybody wake up Reggie?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Reg!
I'm just going to roll to sleep for the entire day. It's not often Reggie gets a day off.
Time to count sheep.
He is heading back towards sort of towards Finsbury Circus. He's headed out of the Whitechapel neighborhood. But Sandra, you kind of realize he might be going to your precinct.
Oh, wow. This could be interesting.
All right. He starts to get a little evasive, so I'm gonna let's see. Do I want to start him? No, I'm just gonna say he doesn't notice y'all. Actually, I'm just gonna do a fortune roll to see if he picks up on you all. Just for fun. Because I haven't had a chance to do one of those. So let's say y'all are aware that you're trying to stay hidden. The three of you are pretty good at that, so I'm going to give you an extra die for that. So I'm just going to roll.
We can also stay out of sight. Like, I don't need to see him to follow him.
Point.
Well,
my God. I mean, I just realized we could follow him from when we first saw him back to where he was the previous day. But we'll go forward for now.
Depends on how windy it was.
Well, and you got a 6 on your fortune roll, so you're all good.
Yay.
So yeah, you're able to stay well out of his way. He strikes you as he's probably a little hungover. He's not really. He seems to be trying to be careful, but he's not actually really being all that sneaky. But the weird thing is when you get to your precinct, he actually goes around to the back.
You can find out who he's working with.
And unless y'all do something, he basically slips around to the back of the building and slips inside.
Well, I'm busy breaking into his room.
Are you really?
Yeah, I mean, I thought I was going to stay behind and do that.
Okay, great.
Cross, do you want to go in the front? And in case he tries to slip out that way, and I'll go in the back.
Okay. All right. So we've split the party a little bit. I'm going to focus on Cross and Xandra first, and then we'll come back over to Reggie and see how things are going over there. All right. So Cross, you're coming in the front door of the constabulary bright and early in the morning.
Yes, indeed.
There is there's a clerk on duty just inside. He looks up and seems a little surprised. Good morning, Your Lordship.
Good morning, Mr.
And he stands up and kind of straight. Benson, sir, Private Benson.
Good morning, Constable Benson. I am here to report the theft of a pocket watch, and I'm hoping that you can take a report and make certain that these ruffians are dealt with.
Good choice, Benson. Benson sort of. Yes, of course. May I offer you some tea? Have a seat, please, please.
Certainly,
And
certainly.
he starts kind of bustling about. All right, so that went all right there. Mm-hmm.
Okay, my attempt is to sort of keep his attention, but also to basically have a sense about what's going on in the station, in the precinct.
Okay.
Would this be a beguile attempt or a dominate?
Yeah, maybe. Let's see. So you want to keep him kind of focused on the paperwork that he's filling out for you for this specious robbery, and at the same time you're trying to gather some information, or what's the other aspect of this that you're working on?
Just keep an eye on the front so that if what's name Barnabas, if Barnabas comes out, then I can spy him and not be distracted from this nonsense.
Okay, sure. Yeah, let's see. I'm gonna say. I'll come back to that in just a sec because I want to think that through for just a second. I don't think you're going to have any trouble, at least initially. Benson is. I mean, there's no reason for him to be confused or suspicious about you coming in and wanting to report a stolen item. Like that's fine. And we can say for now that you're sort of keeping an eye on the other things. I'll come back and let you know if we need a roll for that. So Xandra, you've gone around the back.
Yep.
Okay. So let's say you would know because you work here. This is not a usual entrance for members of the public. This is not how you come into this precinct. Oh, your kitty is so cute. So that's already something's a little off, right? Do you go in behind him?
I think I'll listen at the door a bit. Maybe crack it. What's behind the door? Is it like straight into ready, like I don't know, ready rooms and lockers and?
No. This opens into there's initially one of those it's sort of interiorly caged a little bit because you're not that far from the bad parts of town here. So if someone were to just come in, you'd want a little bit of a buffer. So there's a little bit of a space inside, and then if you can get through there, which you have keys to be able to do, then you're in. Yeah, let's say a little bit of kind of a combination storage for stuff that wouldn't, be easily used for bad things. Some lockers, that kind of stuff. And there's also maybe a small holding area back here.
Okay.
Is there anything that you would want to be in this area?
Enough room for me to sneak in behind him.
Okay. Well, like I said, with the interior security, that might be a little tricky, but we'll see what we can do. Okay, so you want to come up and listen at the door. I'm thinking that this might be a good point for me to do our engagement roll because we're getting ready to kind of kick off here a little bit, potentially. And the engagement roll is one of the ways that we will find out whether that's actually true or not. So, for our engagement roll, get to my engagement roll. So this is, again, a fortune roll. We're going to start with one die. I'm going to go ahead and give you a bonus die for circumstances in your favor. We are on Xandra's turf right now. here at the police precinct, and we also have Lord Cross in the front, exuding authority, and you know, everything is fine here. So we'll say 2 dice, and I don't think there's anything particularly working against you at the moment that would remove one of those. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do a 2d6 fortune roll, which, as Josie pointed out earlier, you can just type into Google roll 2d6 and it will do it now. All right, rolling the dice. And the high is a 5. All right. So we have a mixed result, partial effect, or benefit with consequences. So I'm gonna quietly decide what that means, and you can listen at the door.
All right.
All right. What would you like to use at the door?
I'm listening. I think unless there's actually dialogue or something, I think I'm mostly listening to when I can sneak in
Okay.
Safely behind him and not like be standing right next to him in the cage.
That would probably not be great, right? Okay. Do you want to make a roll, see if you can hear more detail? I'll give you being able to hear if there's someone immediately behind the door for free. I'll tell you that. But if you'd like to do a roll and try to hear a little bit more about maybe what's being said, if anything, that kind of thing.
If there's like
there is definitely some Charlie Brown teacher talk going on.
Then yeah, I will listen carefully.
How do you want to do that?
I will scrutinize the sound waves for English words.
Sure.
I'm rolling all my 2s. Oh, failed me. Well, not too bad then. I got a 4 and a 5.
Okay. That works out well. 4 to 5. Okay, so you recognize his voice, and you can hear one other voice. When you start listening, the other person had just stopped talking. So you know that there's another voice, but you didn't catch enough to hear what they were saying or to be able to pinpoint who it is. But when he responds, you can make out him saying something about that I asked around. There's nothing more. He seems to be kind of...
And that's Barnabas?
Yeah. And then some more, a little something from the other person, but it's muffled by the key in the gate. And again, but it's so you can't make out what the other person is saying, and you can hear him walk through, and you hear the gate close, and the voices recede, and you're not quite sure into which other part of the building.
Well, I'll head in.
Okay. This is your precinct. You have a key to get in, so I'm going to say you don't need to roll anything to come into your own place of work. So you come in. The room is empty. You can smell him. You can also smell all kinds of other people who work here. So it's hard to tell who the other person might have been. All right, we're going to pause on that for a second. We're going to hop back over to Reggie. All right, so so he has left. They have left. They woke you up.
So upon waking up, I probably had to channeling a little bit of Ace Ventura, or a lot. So yeah, I'll probably wake myself up and then probably check my pockets to make sure I have like my lock picking set and everything.
Cool.
Hopefully I have it, because now I'm going to attempt to break into Barnabas's room.
Yep.
I guess that would be a tinker.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting because you're not sure which room is his in there.
No shit.
Y'all followed him to the
What?
outside, but nobody followed him inside. I just realized this is not an asshole GM move. It just occurred to me. I don't know which room he's in, and I don't think y'all do either. And unfortunately, you don't have your werewolf's nose with you right now.
Yeah. How
I
many
left
rooms are-
one.
Ugh.
Wait, I'm sorry, Joseph.
Like
What
the
did you say?
snack cups from Life of Brian. Werewolf
I said
noses.
I said I left one for you.
Jaguar earlobes.
So how many rooms are in this?
It's
place?
not very big. It's one of these. It's kind of. It almost seems like it was built between two pre-existing buildings. It's this incredibly narrow, strange kind of, and you suspect from what Reggie knows about how these are laid out in this neighborhood that you're probably looking at like the coffin beds along one side of up like a long hallway kind of thing, like individual doors with just the little coffin beds.
Right. Well, I know that he's left, so why don't I start with eliminating any doors that people respond to being knocked on?
Okay. Let's see. This is an interesting. Yeah, what's up?
Just saying, like, oh, sorry to bother you. Didn't mean
I'm
to.
sorry about you. Right.
Housekeeping.
You need clean towels. What?
Is there housekeeping in 1888?
Not here. There is back at your base of operations for sure. But this is where the other half live.
Well, actually, being that Reggie's a changeling and kind of shifty and able to like kind of figure
Tell
things
me
out.
more.
I have an idea. Maybe Reggie is like getting down on the floor and glaring underneath the doors to see if there's any indication of like, oh yeah, that might be the same shoes that he was wearing yesterday or some shit.
Oh, interesting. I mean, he did wear his shoes out.
Yeah, I don't know. It could be a different pair of pants. I don't know. Some
Okay.
indication.
Okay. Let's see. So they don't have anybody. There's nobody like guarding the door or anything. They don't have that kind of security here. So
The ramshackle inn.
yeah, basically.
I could probably just push all the doors open and make my way in on just.
So I'm deciding whether I want to let the previous engagement roll ride on this part of this as well. I'm going to do that for this time, and then I'll think that through for next time if we ever split the party again. I can decide that later. But for now, we'll say you're under the same engagement roll. So it's a mixed success, kind of success with some consequences in terms of the scenario that you're in. Which is why I kind of wove in like there's more than one room and you're not really sure which one. We'll call that the consequence. So what action roll would you like to use for Reggie's kind of meandering down? Do you want to start with the knocks or peeking under the doors? Which tactic do you want to try?
I think it would probably be safe to like have a look under all the doors and then be like, okay, well that didn't really get me anywhere. So then move on to knocking.
Yeah. Okay, sounds good. So let's see.
I guess that would probably be a scrutinize. Maybe.
Possibly. That's a little bit more sort of trying to predict what's going to happen. I would say, I mean, kind of a mingle role almost. Possibly a beguile, like you're trying to sort of seem like just kind of, oh, hello. This is an interesting one.
But what does Ding Dong Ditch fall under?
That's right.
It's a very small hallway. It might be hard to ditch if you're trying to stay in the same building.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you what we'll do is we're going to have you do a fortune roll. When none of the actions really fit, we can use the fortune roll to just kind of say, okay, so the thing you want to do doesn't really fall under any of these. It's a little nuanced or whatever, but we can still put together a nice roll for you. So we'll start off with one die, just right off the bat. We'll say, I'll give you one bonus die for, again, you're kind of in your element. Is there anything else that you would argue is acting in Reggie's favor right now?
I mean, it probably wouldn't take long to just break into every single one of the rooms either way. So
This is also true. We could also just, do a really big tinker.
yeah, let's just brute force the thing.
Right.
So listen, guys, this is all the cool stuff I got out of all these rooms.
All right. So do you want to do the tinker roll or the fortune roll for knocking?
Let's do the tinker roll. That sounds like way more fun.
Okay.
Let's
That
see if we can
sounds
piss off some of
great.
the other patrons.
All right. So yeah, go ahead and give me a tinker roll.
2d6. I got a 5 and a 2.
Okay. So we'll take that 5. And again, that's it's a mixed success. So you do get all of the doors open. You do your task. I'm going to give you a negative consequence, though, rather than reduced effect. I'm going to say that. Let's see.
Can I perhaps offer
Ooh,
a?
please.
Sure. So you start moving from room to room. You're checking each of the doors. The door, Jimmy's open a little bit. You open it up. You look inside. Now there's somebody in there. You move on to the next, and you keep moving from room to room, listening, and then picking the lock. And you're pretty far along at the next to last door. There's one door left, and you're at the one just before that one. And suddenly the door opens, and a large, angry Irishman shouts at you and drags a boatman's hook right across your shoulder.
Whoa! Your consequence.
Now, do you take the harm? Do you take the harm, or what do you do?
I'm going to use one of my fucking special thingies that I can do and go sleep.
Nice. You can totally do that.
I can. Where is this? It's rightful orders. If you give a simple one-word command. Yeah.
Mhm.
So dude's gonna fall over and fall asleep.
Excellent. All right. So you're going to use one of your changeling abilities.
Yes.
All right. Okay.
So I'll have a minute to get my booty out of there.
Mm-hmm. It is true. So yeah, he kind of and falls back.
Into the bed. You close the
Basically falls back into his bed. It's not a big room. So that takes care of that. And then you do eventually locate Barnabas's room.
Yeah.
And to give you the success on your success roll, I'm going to say you find in the other rooms, you find a few things that you can kind of pick up if you feel like stealing from these rooms. You can let me know if Reggie pockets anything. There's not a lot in here, to be honest, but
There's a spare coin. He's not gonna, not pick it up.
there are. I'll say you find a couple, not a lot in here.
Yeah.
These people don't have a lot, and they certainly generally don't leave them in their rooms. But like under a pillow, under a mattress, here and there. Yeah, we'll say you find like a couple of shillings.
Break some pots.
Just break some pots. There's lots of rupees in those. And in Barnabas's room, Xandra, did you describe the? Oh yeah, you did, because all of you talked about the file and the things that were missing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Reggie, have you ever seen like a police file or crime scene photos before?
I'm gonna go with no. There's no. I mean, unless Xandra was like, "Hey, let me just show you some weird stuff." Okay.
Do you think Xandra has Xandra ever shared like what these files look like with Reggie?
I don't know. I mean, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes is a great answer. And you would probably put it together anyway, because I know Victorians had a lot of interesting ideas about taking pictures of deceased people, but usually not like on the ground.
There was this one where
photos in this room that look like maybe they might be the photos that are missing from that file.
Mm-hmm.
Do you stop to look at them, or do you?
Well, so I overheard this conversation about these things missing from the file, correct? Mm-hmm. So why wouldn't I just scrounge them all up and take them with me?
Perfect.
I don't know what's important. I'm going to take it all.
Yeah. Okay. So you don't find any papers, but you do find a couple of photographs.
Okay. I'll tuck those into my waistband and look around a little bit more, make sure I'm not missing anything.
Okay.
Like checking underneath the mattress.
Nothing there.
Damn.
But it was worth a try.
Ooh, a spider.
More dust. All right. So, let's hop back over. Let's see. So you're gonna wrap up here, and then where is Reggie?
Yeah, I'll probably just take the things that I found and go back to the apartments and hide out there, because I don't want to be found.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't want to be found by Barney.
Okay, great. All right, I'm going to hop back over to Lord Cross. So you've been sitting and giving details to Benson, who is he is convinced that he's going to find this watch for you, your lordship. Don't you worry about that. What are some of the details that you've told him so far about this watch?
Well, it's a gold watch. Obviously, it has an inscription on the inside, which is a Shakespeare quote. And I'll rattle off the quotes and make sure that he writes it down, and make sure that he gets the funny old timey S's in the right places, so that he knows exactly where to find this quote. He said this watch. The chain has a particular, or the chain is a particularly fine make. I'm not sure precisely how to. There's a particular interesting thing in the movement as well.
So he's taking all of this down. He's trying to draw a little diagram of it. Like, he's taking down everything that he can to try and get a very good, clear description of this. While he is doing this, there are a few people kind of coming in and out in the background. But so far you haven't seen Barnabas. But you have seen some other people come in and go. One thing that you do over here is one fellow comes out and in passing they're sort of crossing in the back of the this area of the station. One of them leans over and says, kind of quietly to the other, but of course, you've got real good hearing. Says, "He's come back." All right, over to Xandra. So you've come inside. There are a few people, you included, have little private offices or like little office areas. Some people have like a full-on door. Some people have kind of a desk. You actually have a room. You have a small office. May have been a closet at some point, but it's your office now. There are lockers. You have a locker. Everybody has a locker. And you're not really sure where they went because you couldn't really hear.
Yeah, I'll try to find him.
Okay. Let's see. Where would you like to start? You have who's a coworker here who also has a little, like a small office space, who Xandra feels like she can talk to.
Scully.
Good name. Good name. So Detective Scully. I'll hold back on rank for now. We'll just Scully. What pronouns shall I use to refer to Scully?
He, him.
Okay. So Scully also has an office. Is he roughly the same rank as you are?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. Not sure if she's has anyone much above that she's comfortable with.
Sure. So you definitely you can smell Scully pretty recently in here.
Okay.
You're pretty sure Scully's around, and you sense that they're you're pretty sure just a cursory sniff. You're fairly sure that that there are several people here. It's pretty early in the morning, actually. It seems a little weird for there to be this many people in this morning.
Is this unusual levels?
Yeah, I mean it's not super crowded, but people don't usually get here like just after dawn. Not Scully for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's the night watch, but those are just 4 idiots. Okay. Yeah, anything up like on our bulletin board that might indicate some overnight activity that accounts for like any crime reports posted?
It looks like there was an incident in Whitechapel last night.
Oh, was it him?
Doesn't say, which probably indicates no.
Oh, okay. What incident?
By him, you mean Barnabas, right?
Oh, I mean Jack.
Oh, you mean that guy? No, it wasn't him either.
I know where Barnabas was last night. He was not causing incidents.
No, he wasn't.
Or if he was, then we're dealing with something bigger. Reggie, get out of there!
No, there was an attempted robbery last night.
Okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't me, I swear.
That's not going to get the precinct all buzzing. Unless it was the Queen. It wasn't the Queen.
So are you
I'm
making your way
gonna
around?
keep trying to find Barney.
Okay. So you do find, as you start to walk around, there is one of the interview rooms seems to be occupied.
Do we have one-way mirrors yet?
No, they are behind a closed door, and were you to try the door, you would find that it is locked. But usually, when these doors are closed, they're also locked.
Right. There's no observation area.
No.
Does it smell like he's in there?
Give me a scrutinize roll. Because he's been in here. He's been around here, and his smell is kind of strong. So it's actually, ironically, it's a little bit tricky when someone has a really strong scent because,
Gonna get right up against the door on the ground, sniff right under that door crack, and roll 2 5s.
One of your coworkers walks by. It's gonna be hard to explain. Okay, you got 2 5s?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to say that the consequence is one of your coworkers absolutely walks around the corner. Not like when you're fully sniffing under the door, but like as you're kind of pulling your head back and getting back up on your knees. But your success is that, yeah, he's in there. And so is Scully.
Scully. All right. We can have a chat later then.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess I'll hang out in our office. Yeah. Our office is kind of near like this hallway area or something.
Mm-hmm.
How is
I was going to ask if you wanted to go and check on Lord Cross in the front of the building, or
they just went in. You might have time to pop out. I just don't want them slipping. Yeah, I'll check see if Lord Cross is. I'll give him like at least the thumbs up, like he can go away. He can. We found him.
Okay.
Some signal he can go away. Just yeah. Oh. We got him.
Okay.
We're done now.
It's all clear.
What? The coast is clear.
So you give Lord Cross the subtlest of signals. Maybe only a couple of players.
Yeah.
Excellent. And so Lord Cross, knowing that you're free to go, how do you disentangle yourself from Benson the overenthusiastic?
I will, certainly give him all the information that I can. The watch that I'm describing is actually my father's watch, which was on his person and has not been recovered.
Ooh.
Interesting. Was this watch described when you were interviewed about the murder?
No, it was not.
Okay. So this information isn't in the file yet.
No.
Okay.
Certainly not attached to the murder.
And how does Cross know that his father had his watch on him?
He doesn't. He's making a guess.
He's making a guess.
And
so this is a piece that your father carried pretty much all the time?
Pretty much all the time.
Okay.
Something that's legitimately gone missing?
So it's something that he carries pretty much all the time, something that he would have probably had on his person, but something that did not turn up in the return of his personal effects when they returned.
Cool. I mean, not for him and not for Cross, I suppose, but cool for us as narrative details. Okay. Great. So, Cross, are you going to head back to the apartment?
Once he's given those details to Officer Benson, then he will make his way back to Finsbury Circus.
Great. Okay, so Benson, happily takes down all of these details and assures you that he will be seeing to this personally.
What a suck up.
All right, so Cross, when you get back to the apartment, Reggie is already there.
Yep. So probably have scattered the photos on the table to try and make sense out of them, but of course, not really able to make heads or tails out of them by myself.
I'm going to mysteriously not name the specific number of photos that you found just yet, but it's a few.
It's more than 2.
It is more than 2. This is true.
And less than 70.
Yes.
Probably, yeah. Cross and Reggie, is there anything that the two of you would like to be doing with these photos? Or not with these photos?
I would certainly like to see if there's anything in the photos that can give me anything that I can work from. Is there are there any items in the photos that might lead to something else? Are there any anything in particular in the basically the forensic evidence available in these 1888 crime scene photos?
Right. Computer, zoom in and enhance. Excellent. So you can look through them. I will tell you for free. You recognize the deceased person in these photos. These are photos that were. It looks like these are photos that were taken out of your father's investigation file. These are photos of the area around the body where it was found. These seem to be focused upon some particular items that seem to have been of interest to the initial investigators of the crime scene. Apart from his watch, what is another item that Cross recognizes in these photos that he did not know his father had on him that night?
I suspect, I think that it would be kind of interesting, even though his father did not die by gunfire. There is an old family pistol. One of a brace. That is, certainly an antique. And there doesn't seem to be any reason why he should have taken any such thing with him. But it is there, perhaps in his hand, as he is laying dead. And I don't think that the pistol was listed as part of the things that were returned. Maybe it was, kept as evidence, and I haven't seen that file.
Okie doke. Interesting. Why did he take an antique pistol with him and only one of 2? Intriguing. And we're going to hop back over to the precinct. Xandra, you've been kind of sitting in your office with the door open. You're kind of just chilling, waiting for...
Yeah.
Okay.
As long as I can get away with it, which means when Scully comes out, I think.
Yeah, so the door opens a little while later, and Scully comes out by himself and closes the door behind him.
Okay. Trying to remember how we got on this guy's trail in the first place.
Onto Barnabas's?
Yeah.
You recognized his scent because you scented him from a raid that you had done, and then you recognized that same scent on the file.
Right.
You knew that he had touched the file.
Right.
Is Scully one of the people that's researching this murder? Is Scully officially on this case?
Apparently. Actually, I don't know.
Sandra's knowledge.
Mm,
I'm kind of I'm letting you sort of co-decide for me if Scully is already part of this investigation or not.
I didn't think so. I
Okay.
think Scully and I are buds.
Okay.
It's certainly
And
more
probably-
interesting if Scully isn't supposed to be on the case.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
And Scully's like constable with me, so having a private interview with anyone is a little unusual.
Mhm.
Or
Yeah.
it's quite unusual.
Yeah, what's going on is weird.
Does Scully come to our office or
Yeah, he
go
heads
somewhere
back to his
else?
office.
Or do we share the office, or we have different offices?
They're kind of near each other, but you don't share a single space.
Oh, okay.
They're both pretty small, but they are private.
And no one else goes into the room.
No, he
It's
doesn't even
not-
close his door behind him. He just goes into his office, and you hear him kind of you hear the chair scrape on the floor, and then kind of creak as he sits down.
Okay. No, I mean the interrogation room,
No, that
No
door
one
has
else.
stayed closed. No one else has come back out.
and no one else has gone in.
Nope.
I'm gonna watch that like a hawk.
Okay. You're just gonna wait for that one, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Okay. So a few minutes later, Scully's walking by, and he kind of glances in and sees you. Just a couple minutes later, and sort of, oh, Constable Wood.
Oi, Scully.
Oi, didn't know you were in this morning.
Was that not scheduled?
Sorry?
Was that not scheduled?
Well, when has that ever stopped you, eh?
Well, yeah. How are you doing, Scully?
It's a busy morning, but doing all right, doing all right. He seems distracted.
Yeah, what's got everyone up so early?
Oh, I'm going to do a quick fortune roll to see what Scully's disposition is towards you.
Hmm.
So you two have known each other. What's that?
What's all the hubbub around here?
What's the hubbub? So you two have known each other for a while. You have offices next to each other. You've done some cases together. So I'm going to give you 2d6 to start. Is there anything else that you can argue for that is working in your favor here for Scully to bring you in on what's going on?
That's best man at his wedding?
Is that true?
No.
Okay, I'm going to
Yeah,
do 2.
that's it.
All right. So we're going to go ahead and roll the 2d6. You got double sixes, my friend. That is
Scully,
a critical success.
buddy.
So with that in mind, Scully says to you, he looks around. He comes in and closes your door. And he sits down. And he says, look, mate. You've been working on that Whitechapel murder, ain't you? The Lord that got killed?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's something really fishy about this case. And they're not talking about it. And so a couple of us have been looking into it, using some of our, shall we say, unofficial community liaisons, if you get my drift. You cannot breathe a word about this to anyone. because someone's trying to cover this up, but there's something wrong. And I know I can trust you because I know you care about this sort of thing. I know you don't want this area to be this corrupt, and neither do I. But we've got to be real careful, mate, because something is really, really wrong. And I'm going to tell you more, but it's going to have to wait for a couple of weeks because we are at 9:00. So he tells you, look, I really can't talk about it right now. It's not safe. So,
but just don't, is it related to that upper class twit that I saw coming through the back?
Look, yes, but not like you think. All right, I'm gonna fill you in. I promise. We're gonna get this together. And he gets up and sort of more loudly says, "Oh, you. All right. Well, that's good. And he opens the door. All right. Well, you keep having a good day then.
Next time the round's on me at the pub.
Oh, that sounds great, my friend." And he kind of wanders off into the main part of the office.
I'll probably leave it at that point too.
Okay. You gonna head back over to the apartments?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we can pick up there.
Excellent. All right, so we will pick up there with the three of our brave characters meeting back to touch base after this very exciting first mission that we've had. Thank you so much to my magnificent playtesters. I appreciate and adore each and every one of you. We have been the London 1888 Abyssal playtest. My players, Volcanic Ash, Josie, Brian. I am Ash Cheshire. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Have a good night, everybody.
Royalty wave.
Reggie!
What?